All right, welcome to a weekly reading vlog. We are under pressure. I have set myself a TBR for the month of September. I'm a mood reader. Normally I'm just like, I go where the feels take me, I go where the tides take me. But I have committed to three things. I've committed to three things actually. The first thing I committed to is rereading the Stormlight archive before Winds of Truth comes out. And technically I could procrastinate and not read one a month, but that sounds stressful. I procrastinated long enough so that I only have a week left of September and I have to read Words of Radiance. So we gotta read Words of Radiance for my Stormlight reread. I'm buddy reading Twilight. I gotta fucking finish Twilight. The person I'm buddy reading it with has finished it. It has to happen. I'm pretty close to the end. I have like 100 pages left. That won't be easy. And three, for my reading journal, I print out the covers at the library. And I did it this past weekend because I just happened to be at the library and I was like, well, I know I'm reading Stormlight and that's going to take most of my time. This is what I think I'm going to finish reading by the end of the month. I don't have a color printer at home. I'm not going back to the library to print one picture. I did add another book. Got 9 days and 2,000 pages to read. So that puts me at about a 200. I did put this into my fucking phone. I did the calculator. Oh, the third book, by the way, is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which there's no reason that I can't read that book in September, there's no reason that I can't just read that book in October or even November, because the third book doesn't come out until November, I think like 22nd or something. But I don't know, my little dumb completionist brain is like, no, you read the first one, you read the novella, you read the standalone in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, like you should just read it on September. Obviously, that's the only way you can go about this. So 200 pages a day is not that much. I often will read more than that, but that's like, I have to be consistent. I can't miss a day or I'll be behind. And the world will end. Bad things will happen to me, obviously. This is going to contain spoilers for Words of Radiance. I'm sorry. I'm rereading it. I have to talk about it with somebody. So if you A, have not read the Stormlight archive, and B, want to read the Stormlight archive, if you have no interest and you just want to hear me ramble about it or you don't care about spoilers, feel free to continue watching. But if not, your homework is to go read the fucking Stormlight archive because they're the best books ever. Hot take, best books ever. But I'm really excited. I'm folding laundry and listening to the Words of Radiance audiobook, but I have two thoughts. The first thought and the most important thought is, I feel like when I first read these books, I was just so obsessed with Kaladin that like nothing else existed. But like I love Adolin with like my whole heart. And the relationship between Adolin and his sword is like, it is greater. I love it so much more than his relationship with Shallan. Like so much more. I just got to the part where he's about to like have his first duel. I'm not very far into the book yet. I'm like 200 something pages in. But he's like telling his shard blade that he's like grateful for everything that it's done for him, even though he knows that it would do it for anybody. And I'm just like, I know what's coming in the future books. And he's such a fucking precious boy. The other unexpected thing is like, I just love pattern. I just love it. Like there's a line that I highlighted. I don't have it, but it's like Shallan is like upset because she lost all of her drawings when the shipwrecks. And he's like, you'll draw more. And she's like, yeah, but I lost the ones that I had. And pattern is just like, I will continue to vibrate. The wind will continue to blow and you will continue to draw. I don't think that's exactly what he says, but it's something akin to that. And I'm just like, Pattern is such a wise, sweet boy. He's such a little freak. I love Pattern, and I don't remember feeling that way the first time I read it. So yeah, those are my reactions. I'm really enjoying myself, and the audiobook has been a big help. We're gonna do this. I don't really have an Ashes and the Star-Cursed King update right now. other than like, I just feel really bad for Rain and I just want Araya to forgive him. That's it. We're just waiting. I know it's gonna happen eventually. I think we have hundreds of pages before it's gonna happen, but I'll be here patiently waiting. If that's not what happens, if Carissa Broadbent is gonna like throw me for some kind of fucking loop, then like there'll be riots in the streets. Twilight update. I am so furious at Bella Swan. You couldn't have just told? You couldn't have just told Alice and Jasper what James said on the phone. You couldn't have just told them and then figured that out together. You thought your ass was gonna go and save your mother by yourself? Just the dumbest little fucking 17-year-old girl behavior. You can't date a 100-year-old man if you're that stupid. It's not legal. It's against the law, actually. So yeah, that's my Twilight update. Wow, I look good. I've been trying to figure out as I reread Stormlight why I'm so much less annoyed by Shallan than I was the first time. And I really think that like it all came together for me today. Two things. I read the Stormlight Archive really early in getting into fantasy, and at that point the only series I had read were The Witcher and the original First Law trilogy, neither of which have like, I mean, they have female characters, but not really any of the like the main female characters. None of the like the main characters are women in those books. And also, Joe Abercrombie doesn't write annoying characters. So, there are women in First Law, but, like, it doesn't count. Joe Abercrombie is a genius. So, I feel like Shallan was, like, the most annoying character I'd ever read up until this point. I hadn't even read Mistborn yet. I hadn't even experienced Vin. But I feel like now, having read so much fantasy romance and knowing the, like, depths of annoying, sassy female main characters that exist, Shallan is nothing, y'all. Shallan is a little baby angel. I do think, though, just, like, when I was reading The Way of Kings, like, Shallan's backstory just, like, really doesn't hit the same as Kaladin's backstory. And obviously, like, in The Way of Kings, all of the flashbacks, basically, are to Kaladin's childhood and, like, teenage years. And then the same is true for Shallan in Words of Radiance. It's like her backstory, and I feel like when I was rereading The Way of Kings, every time there was a flashback for Kaladin, I was like, no, I can't handle it. I can't handle the emotional pain of Kaladin's backstory. But Shallan's just doesn't hit quite as hard. I do love, though, Adolin and Shallan just met. And Shallan had a little moment where she just, like, convinces High Prince Burial that, like, yeah, I'm gonna live with you and you're gonna pay me. She's on her shit. I don't know. I'm kind of vibing with her this time. She's kind of sick as hell. I have been really struggling with Words of Radiance because it's like there's so much like it's like foreboding, like tension of like, oh my god. And you feel that way a little bit in the book. Because it's like, you know, the countdown is there, and it's like Dalinar is trying to stop the whole kingdom from falling apart. The Everstorm is coming, which you don't know, but you know, the Everstorm is coming. But knowing what, like, Kaladin has to go through in this book for his, like, character development to happen is devastating, and has been so, like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it to happen. I'm not ready for all of the fucked up shit with Syl. I'm not ready for Kaladin to go to jail, and I just got to the point where Dalinar is like, what the fuck? Like, thank you for saving my son, but you just fucked everything up, and it's not even true. And Dalinar doesn't believe him, and it's just so hard to read, and it's so hard to know how much worse things are gonna get before they get better. But damn, that duel scene was sick, that fight scene was sick, and Renarin jumping in there, I mean, it was stupid as hell, but damn. Like, you're such a good little baby brother. You're such a good little baby brother. I love Renarin. it's one of those things where it's like, we don't know shit about their mom. I mean, you know a little bit more once you get to Oathbringer, but realistically, we don't know that much about their mom. And so much of like in the early books, it's like you almost like want to like not think super positively about their mom because you like love Navani so much, but damn, she did a good job with those children. And we all know Dalinar was not heavily involved in raising them, but she did a good ass job with those boys. I know that everything's gonna be okay. I have to wait so long for everything to be okay. I'm behind. I have to read like 300 pages today. I've read like 120 so far. It's like 11 something. I think that like I'm gonna be able to do it and catch up and then finish it tomorrow. And then I'm gonna have to like cruise through the second Crowns of Nyaxia book over the weekend. But Twilight is done. Words of Radiance, we're at like 65%-ish. And we're doing the thing. The stupid goal. We're making it happen. Alright, y'all. Praise the Almighty himself. Kaladin Stormblessed is a free man again. And now him and Shallan are about to fall madly in love. I think that like now that I've read enough MMF romance or MFM romance, come on, Brandon. Obviously the 5th book is already written, but like, are you too Mormon for that? Because it's surely that would be the ideal solution. Why does Shallan need to choose? Also, Kaladin just tried to breathe in stormlight and it didn't work. And him being in prison was hard, but him fucking breaking Selfrena's little fucking heart. And also, God, when Kaladin gives Moash this, I'm like, this fucking... Adolin's just trying to do you a solid, man. You fucked that shit up bad again. Kaladin, you bitch. I just like don't love Kaladin as much as I did the first go around. I mean, I do love Kaladin, but just like, you stupid motherfucker. You stupid little motherfucker. He's a stupid little motherfucker in this book. I haven't done an update in a while. So me and my husband are about to go on a little fun book shopping day. We're gonna hit a bunch of different used bookstores in Tacoma. Hopefully get some good shit. So I will likely have a book haul at the end of all of that. I can't imagine we'll get through it without buying a single thing. I also kind of want to hit up Barnes because Brandon Sanderson's children's book came out, the most boring book ever, and it looks like it's about a dragon, and so we're obviously going to be needing that. The big update is that I finished Words of Radiance. I haven't been great at sticking to. I've been close on the 212 pages a day. I haven't been like really exacting about it, which I probably should be because I'm trying to make this video. But I think yesterday I probably did read about 200 pages. I just didn't read 200 pages out of the books that I said I was going to read them out of. But I'm ahead of schedule on Words of Radiance, so I'm ahead of schedule on both books actually, so we're fine. On Thursday night, my husband has this like gaming night with the boys, so I ended up just reading all night, and I read like 400 pages of Words of Radiance. So I literally read like half the book in that one day, and then I finished it yesterday and cried like a little baby. It is a great book. It's such a good fucking book. And there's just like, it's funny because like it is Shallan's book. Like that is how, you know, like in The Way of Kings, all the flashbacks are like Kaladin's childhood. You're like learning about Kaladin. So much of the character building in terms of like backstory and lore and stuff is devoted to Shallan in book 2. And I don't know. Shallan's a little badass. Like Shallan, I kind of love her, and I super didn't feel that way the first time, and I think that made Words of Radiance feel kind of like a slog for me when I read it the first time. But I just love her. I think she's a little badass. I think her and Kaladin and Adolin just like, why separate them? Why make her choose, you know? But yeah, holy shit. Like, I mean, there's two big, you know, tears in my eyes, can't handle this, like moments. when Syl is having the conversation with the Stormfather and she's like, I claim him. The depth of like faith that Syl has in Kaladin. I think the thing that like I think going into each book, it's like there's so much that like I remember what happened, but I feel like Oathbringer is the first book. I shouldn't say that. I feel like Words of Radiance is the one book in the Stormlight Archive where going into the reread, I didn't have a like, this is what this book is about. Like as a theme at its core, this is what this book is about. And I was so surprised that like for me, the thing that stood out the most was Kaladin's arc, even though this book is like technically really Shallan's book. But that realization that he has about Elhokar being Dalinar's Tien, and this like profound sense of like empathy, like what we're capable of when we're able to get past our own traumas and our own emotional reactions to things and empathize with other people, and how that brings us to like the highest version of ourselves. Some powerful shit, you know? And the end is like totally like a little action movie. It's so good. And then the other moment that made me cry is, I mean, it's like the combination of the two moments that makes it so good, but the moment that made me cry is when Dalinar thinks that Seth is gonna kill him, and he's like, Adolin, you're better than I ever was, unite them, like, I fully have faith in you. And again, it's this moment of like fully having faith in another person, just like Syl has faith in Kaladin. It's really beautiful, it's really fucking precious. But then, God, when Adolin turns that shit around, like those are like the moments where I'm like, Brandon Sanderson, you little fucking genius, right? When he like turns that around and he's like, my father thinks I'm a better person, but like, too bad for you, Sadeas, that he's fucking wrong. And then it's like it was slightly less satisfying reading it the second time because I knew it was going to happen. I didn't realize it happened in this book. I thought it happened at the beginning of Oathbringer, so when I realized that scene was about to happen, I was like, what the fuck? So it's one of like my favorite things that happens in the whole series, that Adolin is the one to do it. It's like, fuck this, I literally cannot take this anymore. But then I know how it's gonna torment him. But it's so good, so good. I'm really excited to read Oathbringer. Oathbringer is my favorite book, was my favorite book in the Stormlight Archive. We'll see. As it stands now, pre-reread, Oathbringer is my favorite, Rhythm of War is my second favorite, so I'm really excited to be in the latter half of the series. These are my favorite books. I think like the stakes get so much higher. So many new interesting characters get introduced in the next couple of books. One other thing, I don't know if I said this in my last clip, but just about this book in general, like, Mraize is, I don't know why, he kind of like gave me the ick the first time I read it, but Mraize is like, I don't know if it's because I read different types of books now, but Mraize is kind of giving daddy a little bit. Like calling Shallan Little Knife, like, Mraize, you can call me Little Knife anytime, thank you. I have been slowly working on the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. It's just really hard. I'm really enjoying it. Like, everything I've read has been really good. I think I'm like 250 pages into it, which I was nervous because a lot of people don't like the second book. I don't know if the pacing is going to hold up or if there's like a big slog in the middle, because I know like that's one of the big complaints. But so far I'm really into it. It's just so hard watching Rain and Araya, or Araya, however you say it, be separate. It just like hurts my little heart a little too much. I also started, because I'm back on TikTok, which is a terrible idea, I started reading this dark romance book called Little Stranger, because I kept getting fucking TikToks with the audiobook of this like character Malachi being like, please choose me, nobody ever chooses me. And I'm just like, a dark tortured boy, yeah, sure, let me read this, I'm curious about it. And it's like one of the worst things I've ever read, both in content and writing, and I'm just trying so hard to figure out what's going on with the dark romance girlies. Like, the dark romance girlies are not okay. Like, I read A Court of Ravens, and to me, that's what I would consider like dark romance. That's like where I feel comfortable. Like, Malir is kind of a little piece of shit. He does some non-consensual sexual things with her. He like uses his knife on her, but like, this is on a different level. This is not for the faint of heart. think I'm a little freak, but just, this is not the way I'm a little freak. I'm a little freak in a different way. I'm a little freak for like a big green guy, you know, but not for that. No, not for that. Anyways, I'm gonna get ready and we're gonna go book shopping all fucking day. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right, I told you there would be a book haul, and it's honestly like a pretty disappointing one. We went to 4 bookstores yesterday. We went to the Tacoma Half Price Books. We went to the Tacoma, one of the Tacoma Goodwills that has a really organized book section. And then we went to King's Books in Tacoma Book Center. And then we went to Barnes & Noble. So I guess technically we went to 5 bookstores. I got 3 books. I only got something at 3 of the places that we went. Half Price Books was probably the best of the places that we went. And even that, most of the stuff that was good was like the new stuff that was full price. So I was like, what is the point? They did have a paranormal romance section, which I was excited about, but it was all like 90s, early 2000s stuff, and or like some real deep cut self-published shit, but nothing really that excited me. But something that, and these weren't like an amazing deal, but something that I have been wanting to read is what is it actually called? Broken Empire, Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. I'm really interested in these because people say that like, I like grimdark, but even this was too dark for me. And I do really like grimdark. So, and a lot of the authors that people are like, oh, it's so brutal, I don't really find to be that brutal. Like Joe Abercrombie is one where it's like, obviously he has darker themes in his books, but people act like his books are like so dark, and I don't really feel like they're that dark, and so I'm interested to see what I think of these. I got the first one and the third one, so I'll have to buy the second one, but it was $7.50 for both of them. So I got like 2 of them for the price of one, basically. And then if you've never been to Tacoma Book Center and you live and you live near Tacoma and you like classic fantasy or you like old school romances, basically if you like anything that can be found in like a 90s or early 2000s like paperback, you should check it out. They have these insane, like it's like a warehouse, and they have these insane like floor to ceiling bookcases that are just stacked with books. I was honestly kind of terrified for my life in there. I was like, if there is an earthquake, I will die. But they had a copy of Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. I feel like so many people have been talking about the Farseer trilogy and just Realm of the Elderlings in general lately, and I've been slowly collecting these for the past like, I guess 2 years now, and this officially gives me a full set. I'm probably gonna read them on my Kindle if I'm being honest, because I think they're cute, I think they're pretty, and I know that if I read them, I'll destroy them because they're old, fragile paperbacks. But this is like I think I want to read this before the end of the year. If not October and November, I think I want to start these. And then just because I wanted to buy another book. I just felt like I hadn't bought enough books, and I'm reading this book right now currently. This is on Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't need to buy it, but the next one comes out in November and I know I'm gonna want to buy that one, and so I figured I might as well just like get up to date on my collection of these books, and that is The Ashes and the Starcursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is I guess it's called the Nightborn Duet, book 2 of the Nightborn Duet, which is the first duet in the Crowns of Nyaxia world. My cats are like literally going at it. I really liked the first one, and Six Scorched Roses was also pretty good, so I'm excited. I'm like 250 pages into it on my Kindle right now, and so far I'm really enjoying it. That's my kind of like my goal. I think I've said that. That's my last goal, by the end of the month, to have read that. So that's my book haul. I am about to start putting stuff together. Me and one of my friends are having a little Twilight brunch. We've been rereading Twilight together. And so we're gonna watch the movie and have some Twilight snacks. I'm gonna make, I guess it's like fried ravioli, like when you bake and bread it, or you bake it, or when you bread it and fry it, but I'm not frying it, I'm baking it. So baked breaded ravioli. I don't know, I'm gonna do that with a little dipping sauce, and we got lots of other snacks. I'm gonna make like a little fruit plate and stuff, but apples, obviously. Y'all, I honestly shouldn't have put on makeup. I should have left my face raw so you could see the tears that I cried while finishing The Ashes and The Star-Cursed King. I was so worried because so many people talk shit about that book and say like, oh my god, the first one is so good, and then the second one is kind of a stinker or it's just mid. I loved it so much. Why is Rain like the most precious baby boy? And maybe that's like, he's certainly not the hottest character. I feel like I felt pity for him through a lot of the books, but I'm just like, he's just so good. He's just such a pure, good, precious fucking man. Like, I would not even call, even though like he has like dark magic and, you know, black feather, he's not a shadow daddy. Rain is just a sweet fucking boy. And I loved the arc with Araya and her dad. I don't want to give away any spoilers, obviously, because it's the second book in a series, but just like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. It was so good. It was so good. And really, like, the theme of the book, you know, is about the vulnerability of love, and what it means to choose love over power. I think the thing that it says on the back of the hardcover is like, love is a sacrifice on the altar of power, which is a really cheesy way of saying that, but I love that. I don't know, as somebody who, it's like, my wedding vows, one of the main, like, the first thing that I talked about in my wedding vows was like, the thing that I remember the most about meeting you was the surrender and feeling that I had to let go of all of my walls and all of my pretenses, and how absolutely fucking terrifying that was. And so I really relate. Like, I'm a really mistrustful person. I don't like letting people in. I have really like strong walls up. So I related to this book a lot. And it was just so good. It was just so good. Did not feel like it was 650 pages, like, at all. So yeah, I feel like this was a really good reading week. But yeah, that's it. That's our reading for September. We finished our September TBR. I'm proud of myself. I was real worried, but it's such an arbitrary fucking goal. Why did I care so much? I don't know, but I did, and we did it. Thanks for watching. I'm so excited for all the spooky vampire reads. I'm so excited for all the spooky seasonal reads I'm gonna get into in October, and to read fucking Oathbringer. I love Oathbringer.